Zeal Education Society, redefining excellence.
Hello and welcome all. I am Mr. J. Sanavkar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering of Zeal College of Engineering and Research, Pune. We are talking about the different building bylaws. In today's session, we will discuss the rules for ventilation, lighting, sanitation and circulation. Now coming to the rules for ventilation and light. Basically, the building orientation itself is a very predominant factor to get the excellent ventilation and light in your structure. We normally prefer the east-west orientation of building so that the maximum benefits from nature could be achieved. Natural benefits like sunrise, wind, etc. In case of ventilation and light, these are the two important parameters, that is its orientation and how you are going to provide the wall openings in your structure. In case of ventilation, again, you must aware about the wind directions and wind speed. So when you are considering the parameter as ventilation, you must think about the southwest direction will be the wind direction along which there would be a larger opening you may provide. Cross circulation is the another alternative or is the another approach so as to get a proper ventilation in your structure. Now in case of the industrial building, mostly the height is considerably high. Now in such circumstances, you need to provide certain provisions just as like mechanical ventilators, or you have to provide the windows at floor level also. Sometimes in case of residential building, we are going to provide the cross circulation for the excellent ventilation. In case of institutional building, you may provide a larger corridors, larger wall openings so that good ventilation can be achieved. Now in case of the requirement of air for different occupancies, the air column must be getting replaced by a certain interval of time, and this fresh air replacement, that it is mostly expressed in terms of after what is that interval by which this fresh air is supposed to be replaced. So replacement of air in an occupancy by fresh air is it is expressed in terms of the and with reference to the minimum area of the ventilating shaft and minimum side of shaft, which is a regulating parameters for the with reference to the height of building. So the norm says the height of building in meters, if it is up to 12 meter, then minimum area of ventilating shaft must be 3 square meter. Depending upon the type of building, the air changes or cycle of air changes per hour is being regulated. So in case of assembly halls or auditoria, so where the larger people or more people will be getting accommodated like auditorium, so 3 to 6 air changes per hours are expected. Now in such circumstances, it is not mostly possible to get it by naturally, so we need to provide the air conditioning system or air freshening system. In case of bedrooms, living rooms, it is again 3 and 6, but in case of bathroom and toilets, you may observe the air change cycle is to be necessary to be maintained with 6 to 12 cycles per hour. So definitely the foul gases must be replaced very fastly, and so that whenever you are providing the ventilators to the WC and bath, you have to think about how much area of wall openings you have been provided. Now in case of garages is again 12 to 15. In case of kitchen, it is again 6 to 9. So as compared to rest of the habitable rooms, means as compared to living room, bedroom and other room, for WC bath and kitchen, the norms are different because it is necessary to change these or to release these foul gases very rapidly outside the structure. Now come to the rules for lighting. Now in case of lighting, we must rely on the natural lighting system. Considering the building type, definitely we must think about to get the maximum benefits of natural lighting system. The daylight factor in case of natural lighting And in case of artificial means the sky condition, floor level, climatic pattern are the few parameters which we need to consider while providing the lighting arrangement or while designing the window opening or wall openings. Now, in case of natural opening, though the window is the only source to get it into your structure, we must provide a sufficient wall openings for windows. The windows not only must be sufficiently wide enough, but they must be high enough also. Total entire wall opening must be considered while expecting the proper lighting system in your structure. It is expected that the 2/3 of your room area must be covered by the natural lighting system, maybe in diffuse lighting system or by direct sunlight. It is expected that through a window, at least 1/3 of your room must getting benefited by direct sunlight, 1/3 by diffuse sunlight. If this cannot be possible by any circumstances, you have to go for the artificial means of lighting. Now, in case of artificial means, you have to make the necessary provision with reference to the artificial lighting with considering the necessary illumination. For example, in case of study room, definitely the illumination required is high as compared to that in bedroom. Similarly, in case of living room also. But in case of kitchen, dining, study room, we mostly recommend the maximum light in these rooms. Now, in case of recommended lighting levels with reference to the area and recommending range of illumination which is expressed in lux. The simple visual tasks, for example, lobby area, washrooms, loading into trucks. So in case of commercial building or godowns, the lux in case of illumination is in the range of 30 to 100 lux is being expected or recommended. In case of medium visual tasks like bookkeeping, filing, receiving and packing, like storerooms or any other room, where the illumination is expected in terms of in the range of 300 to 1000. And where the more visually demanding tasks like color inspection is there, laboratories are there, then fine bench or machine work is there, or where there are the operations like sewing, watch repairing, jewelry making. In such areas, the recommended range of illuminance is 3000 to 10,000. Again, coming to the building types and occupancy, you have to provide the necessary lighting provision for these kind of buildings. Now come to the rules for circulation. Basically, in case circulation is the one of the important building principles which is necessary to be considered seriously, because this principle is responsible to connect all those rooms or all those units by the occupants very effectively. The utilization of each unit in your structure, in your building, is entirely dependent on how effectively you are providing the circulation in your building. Now, in case of circulation, it could be horizontal or vertical. The horizontal circulation modes are as like corridors, passages are the horizontal circulation modes. In case of horizontal circulation mode like corridors, passages, the rules are with reference to their width. So the width must be provided by considering the occupancy or number of people accommodated for this kind of building. So the minimum width of any passage, any corridor is being restricted to 1 meter. In case of any emergencies in public buildings, there should not be any kind of accidents may take place. Such kind of happenings must be avoided by providing sufficiently wide corridors or passages. Now coming to the vertical circulation. Staircase, lifts and escalators are the modes of vertical circulation. As the staircase is the common amenity, and that is why its location must be provided in such a manner that every user or every occupant in the structure can reach very immediately up to this staircase. Now, in case of lifts and escalators, a sufficient safety parameter must be considered. As these are the machine driven vertical circulation mode, the sufficient power backup or emergency power backup must be considered while providing these kind of provisions. In case of staircase, the another parameter is its width. width of each flight. Now in case of staircase, so this is a typical dog leg staircase. Now in case of, which is very common in majority of the buildings. Now we, as a part of design, one must think about the width of flight as well as width of landing. The number of steps in the staircase are entirely depend on the floor to floor height of your building. There are the rules for the minimum dimension for treads and minimum dimension of risers. Sanitation. Now sanitation is one of the important principles of building planning because it directly relates with the hygiene of occupants. So in case of sanitation, the water supply is the parameter which we must think. Along with this, the used water, that is drainage, is also another important thing we must take care of while planning for it. Now in case of sanitation, the water closet, bathroom and our sinks are the modes of these providing a proper hygiene in the building. The number of units are entirely depend on the number of occupants, as well as the water supply is also depend on the number of occupants. Now depending upon the water supply you have provided, around 80% water is getting converted into drainage. Now considering this volume, you have to make provision about the drainage line. Now in this particular photograph, you may observe the line for water supply as well as the line for drainage. Now in case of these drainage lines, we must think about the traps and fixtures also. In case of majority of the buildings, we prefer the line which is carrying the WC drainage line by a separate line, and we normally merge the kitchen sink line with bathroom, and then entire water drainage line is being connected to municipal sewer. Nowadays it has become a mandatory that you have to connect all these lines to the municipal sewer lines after treatment in your premises, and so that the side margins are necessary for these kind of provisions. So that was all for all those rules and regulations to be followed before starting of any projects. Thank you.
Zeal Education Society, redefining excellence.